It's an honor to join you here today and talk about our experience with ACCE International. We've been working with Leo Lu and ACCE for over 20 years at our Chamber of Commerce, and we have found this to be an exceptional program for our members as well as people that aren't members of the Chamber, and a phenomenal way to generate non-dues revenue for our organization. Over the time that we've worked with Leo, we've taken several trips to China, then we've been to Vietnam, we've got trips booked to Italy, France, Peru. In fact, I have a trip out right now that's currently in France. And so we'll be adding additional trips here soon to Thailand and to Ireland. So we're pretty excited about that. And like I said, we love working with Leo Lu. ACCE offers a number of free inspection trips, and this is basically how we got involved. We were invited to come to one of these trips to learn about what he offers, to see firsthand for ourselves how these trips operate, where you go, what kind of accommodations you stay in. But I think it's a huge value to go on these inspection trips because you learn so much, and you can see for yourself just how these trips function. So we have been to inspection trips to China, Vietnam, Italy, and recently France. And so these have all been absolutely tremendous. You get to see and experience the English-speaking guides. You get to see what kind of accommodations you're staying in, what kind of hotels you'll be staying in, the types of foods you're going to be eating, those types of things. And so it's absolutely incredible. When I go, another thing that I do personally is I take a lot of notes. And the reason is because I want to be able to talk as intelligently as I can about these trips with our members and those we're promoting the trips to. And so that's a big thing. And then I'm kind of a photo bug. I took over 2,000 photos the last trip I went on, and my wife says I'm nuts, but mainly because I'm not the best photographer, so maybe I need to have 4 or 5 shots to get a good one. But it's been very positive for us. And then I come back and I work with a videographer that I have here locally, and we put together videos that we can use to promote the trips. So, you know, they say a picture says 1,000 words, a video says 1,000,000, and it's true, and it really works for us, and it's been a positive thing. Our chamber only works with ACCE, and I can tell you why. A few years back, our board said, you know, we've been working with ACCE a lot of time, and we feel like maybe it would be smart to diversify a little bit, branch out, try somebody else. Excuse me. So we did, and then COVID came along. We had a trip booked to Italy. We had about 50 passengers, and COVID came along and created some issues. The trip was canceled, delayed several times. And then the tour company we were working with only offered a 75% refund, and they made that even more difficult to get. The thing that's really great about working with Leo Lu is he's a man of integrity, he's honest, and he refunded everybody that he was working with during the COVID crisis 100%. And so that speaks volumes to me about the kind of man that we're working with and the type of tours and the integrity that ACCE has. And so that's a giant thing for me in my chamber. So we are no longer looking for anybody else. We're working strictly with Leo Lu because of that experience and because of how well he takes care of us and takes care of our passengers. And so it's a big win for us. So we've done trips that have been small, as little as 12 people, and as big as almost 300 people. And the thing that's great about it is each bus is like its own personal tour. You have a guide on the tour, there's plenty of room. Leo doesn't fill every seat in the bus, so you have space to spread out. And that's a very helpful thing, especially if you have a wife like mine that likes to shop and wants to store things. And so it's a great thing. But Leo is very conscientious about people's comfort, about their experience, and about making sure they have a valuable trip. And so I've been very pleased with working with Leo for a number of years, like I said. Leo is very honorable, And one of the things that I love is when we went on the inspection trip, I'll give you an example. We went to Vietnam, and our travelers that were with us, it was an inspection trip, so it was all chamber executives. But several of them wanted to spend more time in this one area called City Center, which was a market. And we had spent an hour there. And so I got back and I called Leo and I said, listen, based on the feedback, talking to my wife, listening to these other chamber executives, I think it would be more valuable if we could spend up to 3 hours there because shopping is a big thing to people. Leo said, no problem, I'll make it happen. And he did, and the people had a wonderful experience. And so I think that's what really, to me, sets Leo apart from so many others, is because he listens, he cares, he's a man of integrity, he's honest, and he genuinely really wants to put together a valuable trip for everybody and make it a great experience. And so for me, I have no hesitation whatsoever of recommending Leo Lou to all of you. I'll give you one more example, and this one is very recent. Currently, like I said, I have a trip in Paris right now. They're in France. Excuse me. They flew out on Friday, and if you saw the news, Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport got pretty much shut down. They closed 300 flights because of the weather, severe storms, tornadoes, all those types of things. So they shut down the airport, and we had 6 of our passengers that got stranded, and Leo worked tirelessly to help make sure that they could get back with the group. But here's the other thing that I thought was extremely valuable. They're going to miss 2 days on the front end of the trip. Leo worked to put those 6 people to extend their trip those 2 more days and go back and see what they missed. Now that's integrity. That is somebody that goes the extra mile for you. And so for me, that's gigantic, because as a chamber, we need to represent the people that we serve. And when we're selling a trip, we need to have that confidence that somebody has our back. And that's why for our chamber, we will always use Leo Lou and SITSLink, because we have a phenomenal experience and the trips are just amazing. Our people come back and have wonderful stories to tell, and it's a big win for us. So we've generated anywhere between as little as $3,600 on a small trip, but we've brought in over $40,000 on some of our bigger trips, and so it's an enormous value to us. We're a chamber with only about 365 members, and so we're very lean. And non-dues revenue is extremely important to our bottom line. So the trips are a major benefit to our bottom line as well as to our members. So that's I highly encourage all of you to accept Leo's offer and go on one of these inspection trips and learn what their tours are all about. You'll be glad you did. Leo, I'll turn it over to you.
Okay, thank you very much, Alice. Thank you for this great opportunity to meet with some new friends and old friends. And Chris, thank you. You are a better salesperson than I. So you already talked about the major thing about SITSLink passenger group, as well as the free inspection group. There are two kinds of trip. So now I would like to share with some personal with the audience. So I was born in 1950 in China. So I joined the travel industry in 1982. Before I immigrated to the USA, 5 years in China, I won the best tour manager in nationwide. That's why the Cal Poly University accepted me as a visiting scholar in California. Then I immigrated to USA in 1993. So I joined the chamber, same year. And then now I got like a 1,200 chamber membership, and I work with the 1,200 chambers. I'm the founder and inventor for the chamber travel program in this world. Before me, nobody worked with the chamber for travel. What's the reason? Because I joined the chamber board as a board director for 6 years with the Ontario Chamber of Commerce in California. And then 6 years later, I talk at the board, I say, how about we do a tour to foreign country? They say, how much you go charge? So the first group, we only charge $1,000 at that time. Now you know the inflation, huh? So soon we expand our business to all the 50 states in USA and 13 provinces in Canada. That's why we know ACCE, CCEC, WACE, and other chamber association at the state level, 31 of them. We sponsor all these chamber events. So this personal history. Then I talk about a passenger trip. So Chris already mentioned about why the chamber do the passenger trip, to create non-due revenue. So chamber has many different ways to create non-due revenue, like the chamber event, like the golf tournament, like other foundation event, okay? But the travel, you know, for all the chamber, they working with me. Each passenger now, they make $400 US. The largest group size is 1,000 passenger in one group from a chamber, like a Reno chamber before. We have like Syracuse in New York. The 4 times, every time 650 people. So you can calculate how much non-due revenue they created. So if your chamber not a very big chamber, we don't have a minimum limit. Even you have only 1 passenger, still go. So there's a big field we can work with all the chamber in the future. So in addition to create non-due revenue, historically, the Chamber of Commerce in USA, your function is to promote the local economic prosperity. Usually during the chamber event, is one member say, okay, I have a Mexican food restaurant, and you go there, I give you discount. The other say, I have a hairdresser shop, you go there, I give you discount. But the US Department of Commerce, they have a book, put my name there. They say, I am the first person to lead the ordinary American to go international and with the chamber trip. So your chamber lead your passenger go to international, we can help you to make some business talk with foreign countries, with foreign trade company. As a result, like in some chamber, they sell wine to foreign countries. Some sell hay, Hay, to foreign country. So you know, if your chamber membership does some international trade, your profit will be like at least triple, double than you sell it to promote in the local. So you lead your membership go abroad, and after you return from the trip, you walk down on the street. Everybody come here to shake hands with you, so you become a local hero. So they say, thank you very much for such kind of great opportunity you showed me to visit abroad. So this chamber trip. Now I talk about the free inspection trip. So in addition to what Chris already gave you introduction about the free inspection trip, you share with other chamber CEO on how to organize the chamber trip. In addition, you can also talk on the trip with other chamber CEO to share with their daily management of the chamber. So you have a lot of things to talk about each other. So I think this significance to take the free inspection trip. You know, ACCE big boss Cherie will personally lead this trip to Ireland. You know why? Because the Ireland, the total population only 5 million people. But in USA, the people with Irish blood totally 71 million, including Cherie. So I think it's very significant to visit Ireland. Our trip in there, very successful. It's a combination of not only the historical places, UNESCO heritage, but also there is a natural landscape, beautiful country. Actually, Ireland this year ranked as the #3 richest country in the world, in front of USA. So I hope I'm going to see you, all of you, on this free inspection trip. And after you return, we work together to bring your passenger to abroad. ACCE, if you go to our website, we send a chamber trip every year, 20,000 passengers to 80 different countries. So there, I expect to see you on the trip and work together with you, keep relation with ACCE. We already work with ACCE for 17 years. Before their former president visit China, visit other country several times. And now it's Cherie's turn. If you travel with Cherie on the same bus, probably next year you're going to sit at the ACCE board. Trust me. Thank you very much. If you have any question, ask me. People are very quiet. You've been tired at the chamber daily management, or you feel difficult to understand my accent. Travel, relax, smile, okay?
Leo, we've got one question in the chat for you. Have you seen record participation post-COVID in comparison to pre-2019?
I didn't quite catch. What do you say?
So how have you seen participation change for your trips pre-2019 compared to now?
Okay. You know, during the COVID-19 3 years, ACCE never stopped. We are the last group withdraw from Vietnam on April 1st, the year 2020. And Vietnam reopened on April 1st this year. We are the first group and landing at their capital, Hanoi, on the same day. So their prime minister visited the White House 2 months ago. And he personally shake hands with President Biden, say, though you probably do not like this president, but Vietnam Prime Minister say, thank you, Mr. President. We already reopened to American tourists on April 1st. Same day, you have a group, 125 passengers landing there. Thank you very much. In June, I meet with President Biden. I say, you know that? That's my group. I say, Mr. President, I wish you longevity. He said, probably another couple of years. Oh. So in the past 3 years, we never stop. I personally take a lot of personal inspection trip to South America, to Europe, to Asian country. And we prepare, well prepared to make the travel, everything in detail, smooth, safety, and for chamber trip there, successful. That's what we do. So this year, we already have 5 free inspection trips to Vietnam, to Greece, to Italy, to France. The other one, I forgot, too many. And next year, in addition to the free inspection trip to Ireland, we also have March 1st to Brazil, March 25th to Peru. You're welcome to join all of this free inspection trip. I like to travel with you. And for regular chamber trip, your passenger trip, I do not make decision where and when to go. You make decision around the year. Any day you go, and we can make your group go anywhere you want to go. Thank you.
I think we have one more great question for Chris in the chat. And Chris, I know you answered this there, but for anybody who's not able to look at the chat, can you speak to the marketing kind of success plan that you use for promoting your trips?
Sure, I'd be happy to. So there's a number of things that we've done to help market our trips. One of the things that we have found to be extremely valuable is our orientation meeting. So the orientation meeting is where either Leo or myself or somebody that's been on the trip will meet with potential travelers as well as people that maybe have already signed up and talk about the trip, show some pictures, answer questions. And we found those to be a great way to kind of get the wheels moving, so to speak, and get people interested in the trip, talking about the trip. And then from there, we always mention it at our luncheons and other chamber events. And then we also do social media. We have our e-news. But another thing I do is I work with local organizations. So we have the Board of Realtors and the Home Builders Association. And all these organizations are looking for ways to generate income as well. So what I tell them is for every passenger they sign up, I'll give them $100 for every person they sign up. And that helps them to stay engaged in promoting our trips as well. We're already making $300 to $400 per passenger. If it's a chamber member, we make $300. If it's a non-member, we make $400. So it's really easy to give that $100 away because it's still additional revenue for our chamber and a huge benefit. So we talk about it a lot. One other thing that I've done in the past, which has been very, very effective, is I will go and talk to these senior living communities that are in our area, because if they're an active living community, so to speak, a lot of those people are retired, they have expendable income, and they love to travel. And so we've had a number of those folks join us on the trips as well. So from our perspective, we don't really care whether or not they're a chamber member or not, because it's about generating revenue for us. But it also is a great way to have camaraderie, to develop relationships, and it's just a positive thing. So it's a big win for us. And so I think that's a real value. What I do to help identify how to pay these other organizations is I use Publisher, and I take Leo's form, the registration form, and I add the logo for the home builders, or I'll add the logo for the Board of Realtors on the one that they are sending out. That way, when it comes in, I can identify who it is that who they booked through. And so that's huge for me. And I think that's a smart thing. For us, we start planning our marketing 8 months to a year out. Start trickling that out. We just feel that that's extremely valuable to have that much time to build momentum, to ask questions, to be able to really have an effective promoting plan. That's why we're offering 2 trips a year, so that we are always promoting another trip. Another thing that we do is we created our own website to promote our trips. It's standalone. It doesn't tie into our chamber website. You can link to it from our chamber website, but it's also a standalone website. And I'll type it in here. It's ccctraveladventures.com. And we just use that as a way to promote the trips that we have coming up, to share information about the trips and those types of things. And then the last thing I do to really try to help is I go online and I personally research all the places we're going. If I haven't been there myself, I research all the places we're going. I learn about them, learn about things that are points of interest, and I put together a one-sided, one-page letter 6 weeks before. I send a letter out every week. So each week I do a one-page letter with some highlights, with some packing tips. If there's any information about COVID, whether it's mask, any of that type of stuff. Tipping, I help them to understand that there's a tip for the guides. I help them to understand about being careful with your luggage, things like that. And then I just try to include some words in that language, like hello or goodbye or can you help me or things like that, just greetings, just to kind of make it fun and easy and convenient for people. And we have found that that's just been a very effective way to keep people engaged. I found personally that as you get to about 6 weeks out, people start getting anxious, they start asking questions, and those letters have really helped to minimize the number of calls we get because we're sending information out on a regular basis. So for 6 weeks prior to the trip departure, I send out a one-page letter with information, maybe a couple of pictures, that type of thing. And it's just been really beneficial.
Thank you for all the insider tips, Chris. We've got one more question for you, and it's regarding your rates. How do you charge your partner organizations? Do you give them the member or the non-member rate?
So we have the non-member rate, unless, of course, the person that signs up is a member. We always look to make sure, because if they sign up at one of our members and we didn't, that's fine. We still are going to honor that, and we'll still pay them the $100 because we still walk away with $200. So it's a win.
May I say a few more words? Okay, talking about the rate, SysLink tour fare, including everything. We different from other travel company. We do not sell any optional tour on the trip. We already include everything there. So your passenger pay the tour fare, then nothing you need to take care on the trip. And also, if you visit our website, we do not accept any individual passenger to book in. We only work with the chamber. Like our company name is a Chamber International Travel Service, Los Angeles Incorporated. So in that way, your chamber working with me, the passenger always in your hand. They never go to make a booking directly with us. And also, we put the chamber at a risk-free position. The trip deposit always been kept in chamber hand, but my company issue the invoice. We do all the paperwork for chamber. On chamber behalf, they will already receive the deposit and then what time the balance due and how much the balance due. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Leo. We've got time for our one last question that we received, and then we'll wrap up today. Can either of you speak to if the inspection trips are limited to CEOs of chambers only, or anyone on the senior leadership team? Can you speak to that a little bit?
Usually, each chamber, so when there's a chamber president or chamber CEO to go by free, and you can invite one of the guests, either your kids or your husband, wife, or other chamber elected official or something. Some chamber want to have more guests on the trip, but it's unfair for other chamber CEO. They will want to talk about the daily management about the chamber. So if there are too many outside person on the trip, bother the chamber CEO. So usually just one free, one paid guest. Paid guest price is on the flyer. You can see.
Thank you, Leo. That's all for today's session. Another huge thank you to Leo and Chris for sharing their expertise with us and spending your afternoon. We look forward to seeing you all on another webinar soon, and look out for that recording email with additional information from me later this week. Thank you all and have a great rest of your day.
Thank you. Bye-bye. See you on the trip. Bye-bye.